Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor, my friend Danielle, the Dab Spot on Periscope, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. Where are you? Tell us where you are, actually. Where are your social medias?
Oh, wow. A lot of places these days. Let's see. I'm on the WeedTube. I'm on Vimeo, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. Now. I'm going to be getting a Twitch soon because it seems like everybody's going to Twitch. So pretty much any handle, you could find me at the Dab Spot.
Yes! Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to check out the website, femyoga.com. Keep this channel going and growing so we can bring on more awesome people like Danielle to talk about their channel and what they're all about. And I know Periscope's a little limited on discoverability, so I figure this is a nice way for me to show my audience other people that I like to watch and other broadcasters I think you guys will probably like too. And there's kind of some controversy going on lately, so I wanted to bring Danielle on because she's kind of a specialist in this department. As you can see from the title, we're going to talk a little bit about cannabis. But even before we get into that, do you want to say like a little bit about what got you on social media, how long you've been doing this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, social media, I guess I've been doing YouTube now for probably 7 years, I guess. I started on my Danielle Disease channel with corset waist training because I used to work for a corset company and we needed somebody to do actual waist training. So I started like doing how-to videos on there. And then I met Indoor Smokers actually, and he had a weed channel, and I was just like, this is awesome. What? I can do this. And I got a job at a dispensary kind of like right around that time. So I just had like all this product and knowledge, and the medical industry here in Washington at that time was just booming. So it was just a really like perfect gateway into like the cannabis type of social media. I started doing YouTube, I guess, on the Dab Spot 3 years ago now. And until last, I guess, when was it? It was the beginning of May. Yeah, most of us, our channels got suspended, which we'll kind of get into. But so I guess 3 years as far as the cannabis industry goes for social media.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Araman, for the super hearts. Love that. You guys, make sure that you follow her on Periscope as well because she's going to be doing broadcasts. How often would you say you go live on Periscope and anywhere else?
I would say at least a couple of times a week on Periscope. I was doing daily broadcasts for a while and kind of switching between YouNow and Periscope. YouNow I've kind of put a little bit less emphasis on now that I became a partner with Periscope, so that was really cool. So I put most of my emphasis now on Periscope, and I'm hoping to do at least 3 or 4 broadcasts a week here in the future. I would say I do at least a couple here now, though.
Okay, what do you mean when you say became a partner with Periscope?
Just like a super broadcaster.
Yay! Yes. Super hearts, you guys. Tracy, perfect timing. Thank you for the super hearts. So that means that on your channel, if you guys send super hearts, she can cash those out as a super broadcaster now, which is awesome. Tom, will you please focus? We're trying to talk about social media. We are not going to fight. We make love, not war. Okay, interesting. So long on says some WeedTube channels came back up on YouTube today.
Yeah, so one of the big ones, Loaded Up Entertainment, actually was given their channel back today. Nobody knows how or why. Actually, when we were all taken away, there was no explanation whatsoever on actually why anybody was suspended, what we were doing wrongs, what guidelines anybody had, crossed or anything like that as far as there being something that we did wrong. It was just kind of, nobody knew anything. There wasn't any explanation given to us from YouTube except for Philly D did do an episode on why, what was happening to the cannabis community. And he actually kind of posted, what did he say? YouTube had written him back and they said that they don't allow the sale or direct showing of the sales of marijuana. So basically it was saying that all of us were pointing to how to buy, cannabis online, which is completely ridiculous. Like, you can't even do that. You can't buy marijuana online. You have to be 21 legally in your state, if it even is a legal state for you to purchase it. And so it was just ridiculous claims at that point. And that was really the only thing that they had ever given us. So there's not really an explanation on why those channels have gotten back. I know 2 people or maybe 3 people have gotten their channels back now. 2 of them have been smaller. It was that high couple and one other one that I'm not sure what the name was, but they both got their channels back. And I know that they had to basically delete all their videos and change it into a vlog type style of show. Anybody that's kept their channels right now have deleted all of their cannabis videos.
Wow. That's crazy. And I want to talk a lot more about that. I just want to get to a couple comments because I see them kind of pouring in. Yes, we are live. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming in. I think, Danielle, can you see the comments as well on your end?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. So I saw one good question. OMO, Teo, you says, oh my God, Periscope has guesting now? This is actually through Periscope Producer. So we're on a Google Hangouts call. I kind of hacked it. They do not have split screen yet, which I love about Instagram Live. Periscope, if you are watching, please get split screen. I would love to be able to do this from my phone all the time. I love having guests on. It really helps the conversation to kind of keep flowing. And with 4 eyes on the comments, we will miss even less. And this is a good question. So Thomas asks, do you think pot will be legalized federally?
Supposedly in the next 4 years, it is supposed to bring in, what was it? It was like $20 billion here in the next 4 years. And I think it's supposed to go federally legal at that point. I know there's a lot of states right now that are passing more medical laws as well as going recreational this year. So it's just going more and more towards that. So I don't see the benefit in any states holding out in that because it's just money that they're losing at this point. Especially when and then their citizens are just going to other states and bringing it in. So I think it's going to be federally legal here soon, especially Canada is going to be legal in July. And that's going to force a lot of, I feel like, pressure on the United States to legalize.
So July, what is it, July 1st? Or?
I don't know if there's an exact date. I just know it's somewhere in the beginning of July. I don't know if it's the 1st, though.
Have they been pushing that off, or is that just my perception of it? Because I thought it was supposed to be, I feel like it's, was supposed to be legal in January and then legal again, and, I just feel like, has it been pushed off, or do you know? I don't know.
I don't really know as far as Canada, just because there's been so much going on here. It does kind of seem like it was supposed to happen. Well, they've always had I feel like they've had cannabis in Canada for a while as far as cafes and things like that, right? So there's places that you could actually go and smoke. As far as I've heard, ever since I've been young, I've never actually visited Canada yet, even though I'm 5 hours away from the border. But so I can't really answer that question, but that's for sure.
Yeah, I've only been to
That's
Canada.
Definitely a big step.
I live close to Canada too. We definitely have no excuse for not going there. Yeah, I know. Pegleg, I know. I think it's maybe a Google Hangouts. The connection is cutting out occasionally, but we're getting most of the conversation. I don't know exactly what's happening, but it's mostly good. I'm catching it all. Yeah, someone said they were smoking in a shop in Vancouver in 2004. Canada, mostly tinctures and oils and topical products. See, I don't really know a lot about any of this as far as different types of products. Is there... Excuse me. I had heard you talk thank you, on your channel. So let's just kind of, for anyone who's a newbie, because I know there's a lot of your friends in here that kind of know you already. They're sending you all sorts of love. So you were broadcasting what? You were talking about products and talking about reviewing them, or were you just smoking, or were you vaping or smoking? Or is there different rules depending on what you're using and doing or promoting? And kind of what have you learned from this, or what do you know about it? Thank you.
Yeah, so as far as YouTube goes, they're very much for education and educational videos. So as long as you kind of stay in that realm of being educational and not promoting and saying, go out and do this, and having all the precautions, basically giving, 21 and older, this is for adults only. Everything bought in this is under, rec law in Washington, and give all the codes and everything like that. So I try to stay pretty compliant with all that and try to stay on the more educational basis. Doing vape reviews was my main thing. So I basically did all different kinds of product reviews on the market. I did some kind of crazy videos, you know, here and there, but not as far as like trying to kill myself smoking all these crazy dabs or anything like that. I tried to stay a little bit more on the educational side.
Okay, all right. So you would just basically say like what you thought of it, how the experience was, and then you would tell them like where to buy it. And is that what was against the rule, or was it like actually using it that was against? Or do we just not really know?
We just don't really know. You know, I do have a theory as far as that goes, where CBD recently went back on a Schedule 1 list, and a lot of us were doing CBD videos and showing exactly where you could purchase CBD. So I don't know if that's what triggered it, and maybe, you know, at that point they could say we were showing people where to purchase marijuana or whatever, because at that point, if everything's on a Schedule 1 drug, it's all a Schedule 1 drug. So they could kick that out. But it's almost weird because those theories get thrown out the trash because other channels like food channels and things like eating all these calories and stuff, those videos are also getting flagged. So it's not just the cannabis community, it's other hits in different various parts of the different communities that are getting hit. So, and they're all flagged under dangerous and violent like material. So it's really hard to say. I mean, I don't know. CBD is like the least of the dangerous material, and those are the ones that were getting the most strikes. I had 2 CBD strikes that were removed after I, you know, appealed them. And so I don't know. It's really hard. I didn't have any type of strikes or anything when my channel was actually suspended. So I thought I was, you know, in the clear for a little bit, and I woke up and my channel was gone the next day. So yeah, there's not really any type of explanation.
Yeah, so I mean, I know this story, but if you wouldn't mind kind of sharing so a little bit about like the YouTube strike system and what you were actually getting striked on. You know, I know there's like, you know, there's copyright strikes, and then there's like terms of service or, you know, use strikes, and kind of like what had happened, because I know you had gone through kind of the repeal process, and if you want to kind of share a little bit about that, like a summary of everything. Hi, Mindy.
Yeah, so you get 3 strikes basically before you are suspended, not copyright strikes. These are just terms of service strikes. So you get 3 of those before you're suspended. A copyright strike, you get 2. Okay. So those are a little bit more serious. The terms of service ones, you know, get a little bit more leeway. You get to appeal them one time. They're reviewed, and, you know, you either get your video back or you don't, but basically that ad revenue is taken away. What else can I take away? You used to actually not even be able to view the video that was taken down for copyright or for any type of strike, copyright or terms of service strike. But they have recently changed that because it almost seems to view your video or anything that you wrote about it to actually remember maybe why it happened to, you know, not breach the terms of service. So they have changed that recently. But yeah, that's basically it. The 3 or the 2, and then you're out. And the appeal process to get your channel back, you can't. Actually, the appeal process to get a strike, you only have 150 characters, I believe, to type out. So that's like 3 sentences worth of, you know, why your video doesn't breach the terms of service and why, you know, you should get it back or whatever. It's not a lot. You have to be very precise, and because you only get to do it once. The channel appeal you get to do as many times as you want, and you get about a paragraph. I don't know the character numbers, maybe like 500 characters.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. So I have a little bit. Hey, Chris, Indoor Smokers in the house. I wanted to talk a little bit about him, so we can talk about his channel a little bit, how you guys met, and in your history too.
Definitely.
But I just wanted to share kind of briefly that I've actually had copyright strikes on my YouTube channel. And I think, for me, I actually have 2 strikes, and they haven't taken me down. I'm banned from live streaming, so they won't let me go live. I can still upload videos on my YouTube channel, so go subscribe to both of our, well, I mean, you have, what, Vimeo now?
I have Vimeo. I do have my Danielle Disease YouTube channel, which I'm going to start back up and do non-cannabis related content. I'm getting my comments right here so I can see them a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Take your time, set up. And what kind of content do you think you're gonna be putting out on there? Danielle Disease.
So I'll just do basically vlogs and things like that. Just cut out my smoking and I don't know, just do a lot more fun things. I'm planning on doing some like Pinterest hack videos and just, you know, just fun stuff that actually like stuff that you would be creative and doing before you do videos, you know, to stay, I guess, like, be able to make your money on YouTube, because that's how we would make our money, is through sponsorships and people wanting us to promote their products. So it was just something that's nice and free and things that I want to do. I guess I haven't really experimented with stuff like that for a very long time. So it'll be refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of when I can't go live on YouTube again until July. So it's a 3-month ban on going live, and I go live 3 hours a day every day. So it was a big change, but that was kind of, I addressed it the same way as like, all right, well, what have I learned and what can I do? What's my new strategy kind of moving forward? What can I do? So, you know, we're doing what we can. So this is my little life hacks book I just read recently. So it's probably like kind of this kind of stuff. It's called The Little Book of Life Hacks, How to Make Your Life Happier, Healthier, More Beautiful by Yumi Sakagawa. And the first one is putting an avocado in my hair, and I'm going to do that at some point. Not today, not right now. So, but I also, you were talking about revenue, monetization. So your channel was monetized by the new guidelines even, right? The 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours watched in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave you some copyrights, not copyrights, so they gave you some strikes on terms because of using CBD twice.
So they pretty much took out all ad revenue for non-family friendly channels before all this point, so nobody was making ad revenue, I mean, the slightest, but nothing to even, you know, really speak of as far as any type of income is concerned. And this was probably 6 months to a year that they did this before they started actually taking away channels. They also started doing like algorithm changes. So non-family friendly, you know, they weren't actually shared on the trending pages. They weren't shown up, you know, even to a lot of your subscribers. Even if they did click the bell, they added the bell feature to begin with. And then you had to click that bell to get your notifications. So they just repeatedly made it harder and harder for even your followers and people that wanted to see you access you at that point.
Yeah, I think I find that really surprising that when you subscribe to a channel on YouTube, if you want notifications, you have to opt in, as opposed to most places, like on Periscope, you get notifications unless you opt out for that specific channel. So I think it makes more sense to like say that you want to follow a channel and not get notifications than to say that you want to follow and then also have to say you also want to be notified. Like, I feel like following is basically saying you want to be notified when this channel goes live. So
yeah, it's a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah, some weird stuff on YouTube for sure. So that's kind of like Indoor Smokers' big kind of, you know, venue. I think it's kind of like their big medium. Thank you for the super hearts, Chris. And I think I met you guys kind of around the same time. So did you find like his YouTube channel first, or did you meet in person, or what's kind of like the history there?
So there's a lot of history there, actually. So me and Indoor go way back, even before like YouTube or social media is concerned. We used to work. Oh, why is the screen black? Can you still see me?
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
Okay, weird. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It just threw me off. So we used to work together at a convention center. We used to do banquets. So I was like 17 or 18 at the time, and he got hired on for a couple of months, and we did banquets. And he was like, you know, just the crazy guy that popped in for a few months and then was gone. And I remembered him. I read some Craigslist ad, I think it was, and I went into an interview, and it was him and Tia. And it was like a 420 friendly ad for somebody that wanted to do social media and things like that. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds great. So I went and did the interview, and I was like, oh, this is so funny. As soon as I walked in, we like recognized each other, and it was like, you, okay, you know, let's do this. And it's just been history ever since. We've been doing videos and stuff. We started on Epic Review Guys is when I first started there. And then I did a couple videos for Indoor Smokers, and then a lot for his Indoor Tokers channel that's now suspended also with the Weed channels. And yeah, now we do a closer look, and I do Indoor Smokers with him and stuff all the time. We do, oh God, the Vape Lounge, everything that's going through the Indoor Smokers studio now. It's a lot.
And that's all through is that all on YouTube still, on Indoor Smokers, or that's all on WeedTube?
Indoor Smokers and the Vape Lounge is still on YouTube.
Okay.
The WeedTube has Indoor Tokers and the Dab Spot, as well as Vimeo.
Okay, so it's WeedTube.com, right?
Mm-hmm. TheWeedTube.com.
TheWeedTube.com. And that's basically like a group of what would you call it, like cannabis advocates that are like, okay, well, if YouTube's not going to let us broadcast, we're going to create our own? Or
Yeah, actually, me and Indoor Smokers are involved in the creation of that site. And so we are part owners in that site. And it's basically a couple of our friends that came together and saw, a need for something when everything was failing, like 2 months before all of our channels got deleted. So they came together, bought servers, got a whole website built, and basically made this whole platform for people, not just cannabis content. There's vape life, there's CBD life, there's blog life, just a platform basically that that you can publish and get paid for it. We actually pay revenue to everybody. We pay better than YouTube revenue over there. So you can go post your videos. It doesn't necessarily have to be, weed content at all. But if you can go over there and get at least 1,000 views on a video, you'll get paid 52% of the ad revenue that came in that month. So it's just a really awesome, actual way for people to get paid and feel like, their work is going towards something that, can help their future.
So what kind of content is on there besides like weed content, would you say? Is there already stuff, or you're just is it kind of growing? It's only been, you said the past like 2 months?
Yeah, there's a huge LGBTQ community up there. Like I said, there's like a vlog life up there. Let's see. I think there's like a place for food. It's just basically there's a whole list of things that you can pick from, and you can even like choose your own category and be an other, but you don't necessarily have to post cannabis content. It's just kind of a place. The WeedTube, it's just, it was for the direct need for stoners at that time, for people that were losing their content on the community of YouTube. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you as a content creator can't go over there and, post your stuff and enjoy it just as much as the rest of us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, Chris had told me a little bit about that. I think that was really cool. It's like, I just love problem solvers. It's like, okay, there's obviously a problem here. We're not able to just, the state's saying it's fine, the federal government's saying it's not fine. One platform doesn't seem to mind, and one platform is shutting me down, and it's kind of like, so it's just cool that you guys kind of innovated and created your own solution, your own platform. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's theweedtube.com.
And that's the problem with using other people's platform, because your terms of service and guidelines can change at any point in time. So, it could be okay this year, but next year they could be completely strict, and everything that you did the year previous, is now against their guidelines. So it is very easy for any platform that we use to do that. It is something that is a constant in our lives, is going to be change. You see a lot of terms of service changing throughout all the platforms recently. I don't know if you've been getting the emails, but it seems like everyone.
Yes, so weird. I'm thinking there must have been some maybe law change that was causing this to kind of like snowball.
Net neutrality.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I'm not sure. But yeah,
I don't know either, but
I know. Chris said every crisis is an opportunity, and I love that attitude. It's exactly kind of why I wanted to have you on, so we could talk about this, because with the less exposure it gets, the less likely anything is to happen about it. So I think that, the fact that it's being categorized as dangerous and violent content is absurd on so many levels.
I know.
I mean, people are participating in using cannabis. I mean, it's not like how is that?
I know, which is completely illegal, where we are,
and medically beneficial to seizures. What are some different things? What, glaucoma?
Anxiety, sleep disorders. They shrinks tumors. The list is really endless.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, they're starting to think that it targets cancer cells and when used in the proper way. So, and rewinding a little, you had talked about CBD, and I don't know if you want to kind of expand on what that is for people who don't really know the difference between like these different, terms.
Yeah. So CBD is cannabidiol. Or cannabidiol. It is the non-psychoactive component in marijuana. So THC is the psychoactive component. That's what basically gets you high, the psychoactive effects. And CBD is going to give you all the beneficial aspects of the plant, but it's not necessarily going to give you that, fuzzy high, like almost just spacey feeling, I guess. If you have large amounts of CBD, you do definitely feel a little bit floaty, I would say. You do get a nice little body high, like if you're going to dab CBD. But as far as small amounts of it, you can get a very big, beneficial factor in your body from using CBD. I know a lot of people that have digestive issues, they'll mix it with coconut oil and it'll just completely clear all that up. So yeah, there's a lot of really benefits to it. And CBD, I don't know if it is now because of all the things that just happened. It was Schedule 1 for a while, but I know we were working to get it off the Schedule 1 list. It was legal in all 50 states up until that happened. So yeah, I'm not quite sure at this point. I know it wasn't a couple weeks ago, but you could still buy it, you can still buy it online. Basically, it's up to the state. They're just breaking the federal law at that point, but states that are already legal with marijuana and cannabis, THC, since they're already breaking that law, it's not a big deal for them to, continue to carry and sell CBD.
That's just crazy. I mean, that conflict between federal and state law that's really a big problem. That's a big, we really need to get that kind of ironed out somehow. I don't know. What can people do? Do you have any ideas for that? You guys kind of brainstorming? It's just like lobbying. I feel like we just need to all get rich so we can lobby.
It really is lobbying. There's so much things that we've put out there and information that's put out there now. And it seems like whatever it is, if it's the pharmaceutical companies that's trying to silence, people or influencers, arms, I have no idea what it is. Like it very well could be, just anybody changing their guidelines and not wanting, non-family friendly, like I said, net neutrality, like neutral things that people, stay in the box. People that used to go to YouTube, try to not stay in the box, but they're just trying to conform to that TV lifestyle, it seems like.
I guess.
I don't know what we can do, but just talk about it, continue. It's really hard at this point because it's like all up to the government, and it changes every 4 years for our government. So it could be completely legal for, one president, and the next it's not. So until there's actual rules set in place that, don't allow it to be which way, or the next, then there's nothing we can really do about it, I don't think.
Yeah, I think.
But what we're doing.
Yeah, don't be afraid, just keep doing what you know is right and keep advocating for what we know makes the most sense, and use our brains and be open to being wrong, being right. It's just a matter of if there's sick people that can be helped by this, and the government is. One of my friends was just telling me just today that her boyfriend was pulled over for having, too dark of tint on his windows, which is illegal in New York. It's not illegal in all states, but in New York you can't have tint too dark on your windows. So he got pulled over for that, got tickets where he had to get that changed, which means that not only did he have to pay the ticket, but he also had to pay to get the tint changed. And in this process, they claimed to have smelled weed. He had no weed on him, but he had a bowl in his car, which had been used, and they charged him with unlawful possession of marijuana. And this is like 2018. This is like, I don't think it happened yesterday. This is when I heard about it, or today. I heard about it just today, but it happened in the past few months. And I'm just thinking, how is this still a thing? How are people getting charged with possession of marijuana as already, one, that's even a crime, and two, that someone who didn't even have marijuana on them, but had an apparatus that you could smoke marijuana out of, and he's getting charged with the crime of having this drug on him, and he's like on his way to work, and he's getting pulled over. It's already crazy that he's getting pulled over for his windows being too dark. I mean, it's just for being too private. They're like, I can't see you well enough, so therefore I'm going to pull you over and also hit you with this extra charge because, I smell weed, and it's illegal to smell like weed in New York, apparently. It's just, all that kind of triggered me. And Chris said 40 million plus people have used marijuana in the last year.
Wow. Is there any medical laws in New York?
Yeah. If you're a medical patient, I don't know what the actual laws are, but there are laws. One of my friends has Crohn's disease, and she's able to legally consume it. She's actually, she has prescriptions for a certain amount that she's to eat every day, and she also has like mouth sprays and other types of, vape pens that she uses. I don't know a ton about it, but yeah.
Yeah, it just seems so silly that then in turn you can't smell like marijuana if there are rules set in place for New Yorkers to be able to purchase marijuana if you go through the legal steps of doing so. So it's just ridiculous, and it is a huge invasion of privacy. It's like crazy. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's just,
and having to change your tint on all of like just everything. That's an expensive. That's not even just the ticket. Like, good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's surcharges too. So you get the fine of the fine of the crime, whatever the penalty is. Plus, there's like a surcharge for the court that you also have to pay. Like it's basically like a tax for like the court's time for them prosecuting you. Like they're forcing you to be there, and then you have to pay for the time that you're forced to be there. It's just ridiculous. I mean, there's just like
and you're missing work
stacking
the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, these people are just smoking weed. Can we just chill out a little bit here? I mean, what the hell's happening? Like,
and the poor guy wasn't even smoking weed, it sounds like.
Exactly. I mean, who even knows, like, the last time he even smoked? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
And they weren't testing him to see if he was high. It wasn't a matter of him being high. It was a matter of him having a bowl on him. And just, it was obviously some guy in a power trip. Let's be honest. Like, people, when you give them too much power, we need to just be that. We need to be unafraid of freedom. And we need to make sure that we're always advocating for freedom. We're not putting anyone in danger here. We're not advocating for being able to be really high and then go operate a vehicle or anything like that. It's just a matter of being able to, have a bowl in your car and not be afraid that the police are going to keep you from work.
They call you off to jail.
Yeah, what happened is the police officer had to call like a DEA like specialist or agent, whatever it was, and that person, and they had to wait for that person to come and search the vehicle, and they found the bowl, and then that was it. And so they hit him with that, and it's just like, wow, how much tax money went into this entire thing? Like, if you think about that, he's also a taxpayer, so he's paying quadruple now to pay. He's paying for his own punishment. It's just like, he doesn't probably even agree with the law. And that's the thing. What is I don't know if anyone in the chat knows, maybe Chris or somebody, the percentage of Americans that think that it shouldn't be illegal. I mean, it's got to be more than the majority at this point.
Oh, yeah. I would say at least 60.
Exactly. So why are we even...
At least.
Nobody wants to be paying to enforce it, so what's even, really happening? So I'm glad that... I appreciate you taking some time to come on. We have kind of like probably 10 minutes before 11. If you guys have questions, I know we're like on a roll. I haven't read a
I know, I haven't looked. I'm sorry, you guys.
I love this. All right. Hey, Eric. San Diego, Nick, Hanson's. Gotta wait till self-dabbing cars come out, then we be good. What would that even be like? No cannabis.
Oh, we have them here in Washington, actually. We have a Dabulance, and it's basically, it was a whole ambulance that was turned into a Dabulance, where there's a whole dab rig machine and your party can just go and dab while the driver's in a completely different seat. It's basically like the limo law, where as long as the driver is in a separate part of the vehicle, the partiers can partake.
Interesting. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dabulance. I've never heard of that. Hey, Aiden.
And we also had a weed bus here.
Oh, I think I saw that in New York City. Or what is it? Is that where so a weed bus is what? Where you go and party on the bus, or where you buy it?
Yeah, it's like the Cannabis, the same deal, where the bus driver, but he's not in a different compartment. So I don't know how that law works. If you have a bus, maybe it's different. But yeah, everybody else was just smoking weed and having a great time on the bus. So, and you could physically get on the bus to smoke when you couldn't be outside of the facility. So they would actually pull up to the events and let people get in, the rig and smoke it. And you can rent those out for events. So,
I think about that, like at a bar, some people are going to have their alcohol. Some people are going to prefer to be smoking or vaping or dabbing, whatever it is. And I just kind of think that would be better, And I've heard studies, and I don't know, I'm not, a scientist or a doctor or anything, but I've heard that they've done tests where they test drunk people and high people operating vehicles, and high people drive under the speed limit. They drive overly cautiously. I mean, they pretty much drive more safely than necessary as opposed to a drunk person. But however, you can drink a few beers and just, go on your way and drive away. But there's no real way for someone to be able to go out and socialize and participate in cannabis and then be able to go home afterwards and not be, worried about some crazy fine or
Yeah, definitely. And alcohol affects your brain so much, so differently. You actually do see like actual shudders and your brain like functions slower. Unlike cannabis, it's not like that at all. So, I mean, if you're a new cannabis consumer, I wouldn't tell you to go out and try anything crazy, but like anything, you build up a tolerance to things, and it seems silly at that point that would even be an issue, that you have to wait, like, what is it, 2 or 3 hours until after you smoke. It's like what? I'm good after at least an hour. Like,
right.
It just seems so silly.
I've heard too that different people's brains in general absorb it differently or react differently. So it's like some people are going to want to smoke, some people aren't. It's not like we're saying everyone should smoke. Like, you should just be free to choose without being worried about being treated as a criminal. I wonder how many people are in jail for selling or growing or transporting weed. I mean, it's just crazy to me. So crazy.
Yeah, and that's another problem, because our prison systems, since they're privately owned, they're worried about losing. It's like 50% of our prison system is, marijuana infractions and things like that. It's crazy. So that is a huge amount of money that they would lose for us going federally legal. And since those are all privately owned, it's just like this crazy loophole of people like, no, don't do it. And all of the rest of America like, yes, please do it. This is ridiculous at this point. Like, at least, like you said, let us choose. It has to be like some type of median. Like, we got to meet in the middle somewhere.
Right, and it's like the states are doing that, where like some states are saying no, some states are saying okay. It's so much easier to kind of transition between state to state to state than to move into another country, because this entire country of 300 million people are saying that you can't smoke weed. And then Canada is like, oh no, it's fine. You just like go over this line and now it's fine. It's just, law in general. I'm probably getting off on a tangent, but Firebird says the wheels on the bus go puff, puff, puff. And I thought that was funny.
That's so funny. Kelly, I am in Washington State.
Nice. Yeah, and it's recreationally legal there, right?
Yes, as of 2 years now. 2.5 years.
And so I see Nick talking. Hi, Nick. Thank you for being here and inviting your followers. Talking about edibles. What's the difference between edibles? We talked about CBD, THC. Do you want to talk a little bit about edibles before we kind of wrap up?
Sure, yeah. So edibles basically affect you differently, because instead of smoking, which goes directly, into your bloodstream, through your lungs, into your bloodstream, when you eat it, it basically goes into your stomach and has to process through your liver. So by doing that, the effects are going to be a lot different. You're going to feel it a lot more, a lot longer. For me, I feel a little bit usually more tired, relaxed feeling. You're going to get a lot more of a body high, basically a lot more stoned. So you got to be careful on the edibles, and especially edibles can, take an hour, 2 hours sometimes to hit you. So people get very fooled by wanting to eat, especially since they make all these really good treats now. It's not just the normal brownie or cookie, that your friend made down the street. It's like you just go into the store and it's literally like any piece of candy or any salty treat or drinks or whatever that you could imagine. So it's really like fooling for people, because you eat a couple and it's like, oh, okay, let's wait a half an hour. Oh, I don't feel anything. Let's finish the rest of the bag. And you can go wrong pretty quick. But edibles are pretty fun, and they're actually a really good way, if you're using cannabis for medicine, to be dosing yourself, all the time. And if you're not smoking, it's actually better for you. So by eating edibles, you're still able to get all the benefits of THC and cannabis, and not have the combustion in your lungs. So a lot of people prefer eating.
Yeah, and my friend who has Crohn's disease, think of it, the edibles are going right to the source of what she's trying to treat. She's trying to treat her digestive system. So using edibles is like, it's going kind of right there. This is live. Sorry, it's not pre-recorded. Yeah, we have, we're kind of off on a tangent. We're not reading tons of comments, but...
we are here.
Yeah, we are. There were some good questions, and I'm like, I can't believe how many comments have come in. Oh, yeah, that's what Chris said. He loves herbal drinks. Is that what
they're my favorite too.
Is that a tincture, or what's a tincture?
So they make tinctures with either glycerin base or alcohol base. The glycerin base are basically made into THC drinks. They have lemonades, they have sodas, they have all sorts of things. Energy drinks. They have all sorts of stuff. I don't know, it just depends on, where you're at. I've been to California and they've had some crazy stuff that Washington doesn't even have. So it depends on what state you're in. But yeah, they're basically a glycerin-based THC tincture that you're having in a drink. So you can make mimosas with it if you like to, partake in a little bit of alcohol or something too. You can, whatever. Chris likes to make, what do? You do the Jim Beam vanilla and loaded soda. So it's kind of fun. You get to mix your little fun stuff together and make crazy concoctions with cannabis.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never really heard much about drinks before, so I figured that might be what a tincture was. I've heard of that, but I didn't know what that really was. So
yeah, they process a little bit faster too, since it's a liquid. So going through your digestive system, it'll go a little quicker. And if you have the right one, because they'll have sometimes sativas and indicas and strain specific type of things. If you get the right one, it almost feels like a little bit of a wine drunk. You get kind of, and it's shorter lived. So it's just like up and a down and you're just like, oh yeah, kind of buzzed. Okay. Feel good. So yeah,
I would assume they're good. Less of a hangover from that.
No hangover. Yeah.
Exactly. Someone said that over time his views have changed and he's ready to legalize it now. I like it.
Yes.
They said they should make it yoo-hoo, but instead of yoo-hoo, it'd be you-high. It'd be like chocolate.
You-high.
You-high. That's funny, Eric.
That's a good idea. You better market that, Eric.
There you go. Eric, don't tell us all your secrets.
That's your idea. I know. I'm writing it down right now. Too late.
Oh, there you go. Danielle already took it. Chris said you can also drip it under your tongue, like drops. For tincture.
Yes. Yeah. It'll hit your main vein a lot quicker that way and absorb into your bloodstream quicker.
So maybe that would be good for like anxiety treatment. Like if someone's having an anxiety attack and they're looking for like quick treatment, they can do that. My friend, she said the mouth spray is kind of like that. She'll like when she's having a lot of pain from her digestive system, she goes with the mouth spray or something that kind of just absorbs quickly.
Nice.
So that makes sense. Yeah. Hey, Lava Girl.
Totally.
Hey, Tronum.
I made some great tincture on 420 with some Everclear. So that was really awesome. You just need just the tiniest little bit, and yeah, that goes quick.
Yeah, I bet.
You just need a drop of that. It'll soak in real good.
Yeah, I think they call that the green dragon or something like that when you, like the Everclear with weed and, no, is that something else? Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up.
I don't know. I've heard of the green fairy with absinthe. Is it different?
Yes, I've heard of that too. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Juan had mentioned gummies, so that's a good example of the edibles that, like, if you think of gummies, like, when I was a kid, I would eat a bunch of gummies at once, whereas if it was, in this case, I've heard that you shouldn't even eat, like, an entire gummy. There's actually a stand-up comedian who jokes about that, he's like, yeah, you just want, like, one leg, that's enough.
It's like you want to eat the whole gummy, but you can't. You shouldn't.
Exactly. You need to get
so true, though.
Normal gummies for your munchies after you eat weed gummies.
It's necessary. And they don't sell those there. I'm like, you guys could make a market off that, Get a free bag of munchies with your
they should totally
hot
munchies at the dispensary. For sure. I agree with this. Okay, so I don't see any really questions coming in. Is there anything? Tronum, thank you for the super hearts. Do you have anything you wanted to promote? You were talking about Vimeo is the same thing, the dab spot, right?
Yeah, so the WeedTubecalm right now, we do have a GoFundMe account set up so we can get the apps for the phone on the Apple and the Android. Super awesome. I think we're at 8,000 of our $30,000 goal right now, so that was really awesome. I do have that on my Twitter. You can find that. I'll post a link to it or whatever so people can kind of check it out and see what the campaign is and, just all the values and stuff that the group has to offer and, bring to the community. And yeah, we're on Vimeo. So that has an app. If you guys haven't checked out Vimeo, I've actually ran into quite a few people that use Vimeo more than they do YouTube now, just because of the copyright laws on it. They can actually find the video on Vimeo when they can on YouTube a lot of the times, or, with all of the restrictions where you have to be signed in. Some people don't even have YouTube accounts, so they'll go directly to Vimeo and watch that, and you don't need that. So yeah, the Vimeo app's actually really awesome. And since it is a lot of directors and producers and more professional type videography, it's actually a pretty cool place to go and check out. So yeah, Vimeo is the new spot, as well as the WeedTube.
Nice. I like this. Early adopters, you guys. I mean, Vimeo's been around a while, but yeah, I know that It's always kind of cool. It's the same thing with Periscope. I feel like, if you've been on Periscope for a while, you kind of got in before it became, everyone's monetizing all the stuff. It kind of, with YouTube, it's like kind of late, almost YouTube's kind of like on the decline. It's nice to have some alternatives and something new to test out and try and have kind of like an underground. The mainstream is never where I usually want to be anyway, so it's kind of cool to have an alternative anyway.
If it's mainstream, you've already missed the wave at that point, I feel like, so it is good to get on a, new platform. And the cool thing is it's like everyone's searching for new creators right now on that platform because it is all like a bunch of new creators, people that just sparked their interest and people that weren't even uploading to YouTube before. So it's actually really fun to kind of, once people break out of their shell and realize like, oh, okay, this is a safe place and a fun community and I'm really like about it now. So yeah, it's actually really cool.
I love it. Yeah, so you guys check her out on Vimeo, WeedTubecalm, Periscope, of course, Twitter, Instagram, you said Snapchat, everything. Just anywhere you have something.
Snapchat, Facebook. Yes, I am there.
Yay! Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming on. We had a little technical difficulty. We went live a few minutes late, but we covered everything I wanted to cover.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry we didn't get to as many comments as I thought we would, you guys, but we were on a little bit of a roll.
I know. This always happens with my split screen. So here's the thing. Follow both of us, and then we'll do our normal talks where it's just us, and we can give you our full attention. You can ask us anything you want. She's really the expert on the cannabis stuff, so make sure you're checking her out. Snapbook, InstaSnap. What is this? We're making new apps right now? Let's do it. Let's make new stuff. I love it, Tronum. So thanks, guys, for watching. Please be sure to check out the website, femyoga.com. Keep this content going and growing. I love bringing on all different guests for you guys so we can learn about what's going on out there in the world and who else you guys might enjoy getting to know better. And I'll be live again later with some meditation. I think it's day 10 of our meditation challenge. And you can support this channel by clicking the support button on the website, femyoga.com. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Oh, yeah, let me say my thank yous. My super harders, Tronum, Blair, Chris, Just Joe, Tracy. Thank you guys so much. Our harders, Eric, and everyone else. And Tracy and Bob and Steph and everyone. Yes! Thank you. You guys are awesome. This has been a moment in time with Taylor and Danielle. I'm going to play my little outro. See this is happening. And then it's going to play, and it's going to be like 10 seconds, and you can't really see us right now, but it's okay. We're going to come back, and that's going to be the thumbnail, so we're going to get ready to pose. I hope you have a good night, too. Omo, San Diego Custom Guitars, Ducci. I know, you guys, I know. We didn't get to say a lot. Okay, we're going to end. Bye, 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 bye.